As we made our way into the kitchen with the author of Just Cook It, and today he is here preparing a delicious halibut, sweet corn, and mushrooms en papillote. Please welcome back to our home, Justin Chapple. Welcome, Justin.
Thank
so
you.
excited to have you
Thanks for being here. Thanks for having me back. It's so nice to be at home with everybody here today.
We always eat so well when you're here. The kitchen always smells so great. Also joining us at the counter, one of our very favorite guests, our good friend, Hallmark star, Mr. Andrew Watts. We're going to be speaking with you in just a little bit about your new movie.
I'm just here for the food. I was type to talk.
Yeah.
I can speak about
So you have a few things to promote. We'll get into that a little bit later, but you know, we like to feed everyone first.
Okay, you put your...
Exactly. All right, so Justin, as the culinary director at Food and Wine, you really are a pro at showing people how to make different cooking techniques accessible to the masses. So today you're going to show us how to do something called en papillote.
Which you say very well.
Oh, thank you. Which basically means being cooked in paper, right?
Exactly. So it basically means to cook in a parcel or like a parchment paper parcel.
Okay.
And it's a classic French technique. It's been around for hundreds of years. And it's actually a way of creating the best seafood at home because you're getting all the flavor of the ingredients you put in, plus whatever you add. So whether you add vinegar or citrus or wine or butter or olive oil, you're also getting that flavor. And it's a delicious food that just happens to be healthy. How about that?
Exactly. I like that. All right, let's start with the corn. Let's start with the stuff that's going to go in the papillote besides the halibut. You have a very interesting way of dekerneling the cob. Is that even a thing?
That's a really great way of describing this. I'm going to steal that from you.
Dekerneling the cob.
So yes, we are dekerneling the cob here, and this is one of my favorite Mad Genius tips from Food and Wine, which is you take a large bowl just like this, and then you take a smaller bowl and you invert it right in the middle, and then you stand up your corn because of course we're adding corn to this because it's corn season. It's the best time of year to eat it. You stand it up and you just take your little knife and you cut right down the cob just like this.
And then the bowl catches it all.
And the bowl catches it all.
Corn all over my countertop.
I know.
Right. And you know, you could also do this with a bundt pan, as some people talk about.
Justin, you need to invent this and go on one of the selling shows. You know what I mean? One of those channels. You need to invent this.
And you will take 1 to 3% of that.
That's it.
Yeah, I'll only be taking 1 to 3%, but I think you would do a fine job there. Okay, so we have our corn in there, and then we add the rest of our stuff.
We add the rest of our stuff, and one of the reasons I like to kind of use the bowl technique like this over the bundt pan is because you could take the small bowl out. Let me just move this right over here, and then now this bowl becomes your mixing bowl.
Perfect.
So we have the rest of our corn, because we obviously need more than one ear of corn for this. Add it right in, and then we have some delicious mushrooms.
Now, you use shiitake and cremini?
I use shiitake and cremini, and that's because they have kind of bold flavors. So shiitakes are really meaty, so you're going to also get that texture in there. And then the creminis they're inexpensive, which is part of why I love them, but they have a lot of flavor.
Yeah, very woodsy and
But you
yummy.
can really use any mushrooms you want here. So I love oyster mushrooms because they're really juicy and flavorful. So you add those right into the bowl here.
You also have a clever way of cleaning your mushrooms.
I do.
You have all kinds of tips and tricks in the kitchen, which make it a lot easier.
So I actually learned a trick from Jacques Pepin. Everyone knows Jacques Pepin, right?
Fancy pants.
I mean, he is fancy pants. He is an icon in the culinary world. And one of the things he taught me was you can actually rinse your mushrooms. Because it's not, and it's much like deep frying. It's not about whether or not the mushrooms get wet. It's about how long they're wet. And if they're wet a really long time, then they're going to get soggy. But if you just run them under the sprayer, and then what I do is I pop them into a salad spinner, give them a whirl, and all that little excess water just shoots off.
Isn't that smart?
And you're good to go.
That's good.
I take a cloth and I wipe the top of them usually. I just wet a cloth.
Right.
I get the dirt and all that stuff.
And that's the more classic way, but you know what? Classic is efficient. It's what a lot of people do. So we have our mushroom, our corn. We're gonna add some scallions here. I also like to use spring onions, but because we're in the middle of the summer, we're just gonna use scallions because they're really accessible. You just cut them up. And you wanna add these lemons here.
Sure, which people should also know. There is a difference between scallions and spring onions.
Right, spring onions are basically baby onions.
Yes.
Whereas scallions are more like an herb.
But they look alike. It just looks like
They do.
One of them looks like it's a giant scallion.
Right, and that's what I was gonna show you here. So this is the bulb of a scallion. So a spring onion, it will look much bigger. It'll be about 4 times the size of this. It'll be nice and round. And if you use spring onions, just cut them into quarters, the bulbs.
Right.
And then the greens you just add in just like you would with the scallions.
But you're so right about all these flavors being infused in the fish, right? In other words, I'm getting all of this. And sometimes, a lot of times, if you cook more conventionally, sometimes you lose some of that flavor. So this is really
I'm
an amazing way.
I'm a sauce person, so the fact that all the sauce kind of drains in the bottom is really good. It adds to every bite.
And that's one of the great things about this, and this is what we were touching on at the beginning, is it basically creates a one-pot meal or a one-pan meal because you're getting all your aromatics, you're getting your vegetables, you're getting your protein, which is your lean fish here, but then you're also getting a sauce.
Now, traditionally, like everyone on their plate, they have their own little papillote, but we're going to do it grand size.
Yes, and this is one of my favorite things I talk about in my book. As you can see, everyone here at home has their own little packet, which is a more classic way of doing this, but I like to make a family size on papillote.
Which also makes such a great statement for a table, because if you were going to move it from the oven straight to the table, it's like, wow.
Yeah, because you take your little sheet pan here. Oh, as you can see here, we have a little rimmed sheet pan. This is a 3-foot piece of parchment paper you just put right on the sheet pan, and after it's cooked, you can obviously bring the pan to the table.
Sure.
So here we're gonna just pile in about half of this, and you saw that we put whole slices of lemon here. Those are gonna get really tender, and you can actually eat them, but they're gonna release all that lemony juice.
I get that for sure.
It's gonna be, you can really taste it, right? And so then there was some tongs here.
There we go.
So what I like to do is I like to put half of it right in here, and then I top it with the fish. And the reason I like to do this is because I want the ingredients on the bottom and the ingredients on the top to kind of infuse the fish.
Okay,
so I'm getting it from all around here. So we put it right on top, and I mean that is picture perfect right there.
That really
Isn't
is.
that really
360
beautiful?
And then we put the olive oil on top?
Yep. So I'll put the rest of the ingredients, and then you just drizzle a little olive oil on top.
Now, you could marinate this fish beforehand, couldn't you?
Right, yes, and actually I like to brine it. So halibut is a really meaty fish, and brining actually is a way of infusing a little bit of flavor. So you just mix a little bit of sugar, a little bit of salt in some water, add the fish, and let it sit for 30 minutes. But you don't want to go much further than that.
Because it'll break down.
Yes.
Yeah, you got to go
It'll
fast.
change the texture.
Yeah.
So we have olive oil, a little salt and pepper. We're adding some butter, and if you don't want to add the butter, don't worry about it. Just double the olive oil.
I don't know why you wouldn't want to add butter.
I mean,
double the butter.
But I'm gonna tell you, it's so healthy that adding the butter it's not going to make a big difference.
No.
You know what I
And
mean? The
this
rest
is-
of it's so healthy.
We get the vinegar. Oh, and vinegar.
Yeah, it does.
So we have a little vinegar here.
Butter.
Because the acid really helps with the fish, but you can also add a little wine if you'd like. So we're gonna
Okay.
make this huge packet, so we're gonna fold it over.
How do we make this tent?
So I just, here, I'm gonna turn it so that you can see. I want you all to see this, because this is a lesson here. This is a life lesson. So
You sure it's not arts and crafts lesson? I'm not sure.
it's both.
Okay.
So you start on the end where it's folded, and you just fold it and crease, fold it and crease.
Oh, like you're doing a pie crust.
Like you're doing a pie crust, like you're crimping it.
Oh my God.
We're gonna go really fast here.
Okay.
You just kind of spin it around.
Debbie's done this before. Look at you.
I know, she's got it.
Race, it's ready. Debbie won.
Debbie won. You won, Debbie. You won, Debbie.
Just like
Get the gold medal.
a team building.
Really get it in there tight.
Crease the edges.
Okay.
Oh, uh-oh,
Nope,
Debbie.
I didn't win.
Uh-oh, Debbie.
I failed, Justin.
You won in speed.
Thank you.
This is all about
had the best time.
efficiency. So fold it over, and then once it's nice and sealed, you have your beautiful little
There it
packet
is.
here.
And then how long does it go in?
So it's gonna go in the oven for 20 to 25 minutes at 425, and we have one here. I'm gonna pull it out. I'm gonna do a little
look at
swap here.
that.
There's one.
Wow.
So impressive.
And you could honestly, again, because it is so beautiful, just take it to the table
Oh, I
and cut
think
it like
so.
that.
That's exactly what I like to do.
Or you could move, it's easy to move too.
Yeah, exactly. You could slide this onto a big, beautiful platter, and then what you do is you just snip it open. You want to be careful. It's sometimes really hot. You can kind of see the steam pop out. Oh, look at that. And I just snip it like this, tear it open, and then you go right to the table just like this.
Look at that.
And it's easy for cleanup too.
It's super easy because once everyone eats, you serve it on a little plate, and then you just throw it all away. You crumble it up, rinse your little pan here, and you're good to go.
Who says healthy
Basil?
eating can't be spectacular? Look at that.
Very
Right?
good.
Okay.
You guys
We gotta
serve
dig
that
right
up
in
for
there.
yourselves there. We have enjoyed it, and I can say absolutely delicious
Yes.
and moist and just fantastic.
Wow,
Great job.
look at
Enjoy
that.
Debbie. For the full recipe, you can check out hallmarkchannel.com. It is all there.